This is Locals versus Tombox. Okay, the intro is a little bit different because I normally record it with my little DG cam here, top of the morning. But one, I woke up late, and two, this episode I'm only covering 2 games from the second tournament because I was running late for one, and I didn't want to disrupt the tournament by setting up my stuff later in the tournament. First tournament, I ended up 4-0, won the whole thing with Mitsurugi Raizio. This deck does Mitsurugi Raizio things, taxing your opponent, making them discard, or if they don't want to discard, either way, you can eat the nib, play right through it, and that's kind of what led me to winning this entire thing. And I have a pack here for us to open. This is the last pack. Everyone kind of died, so either we're going to see that this is a nothing pack, or it's a something pack. We can find out today because no one pulled the secret rare, so this could be a secret rare. And I also picked one of these up. And shout out to you, Jin. So yeah, no, I kind of got it off of you. So as for the second tournament, I decided to record the undefeated table. So that's the first feature, and the second feature is me playing the winner of that final table because we decided, hey, why not? You know, this is what it could have been. Second deck here is Chimera, Fiendsmith as Amina with the new build. Everything. This thing literally goes full circle. It's the circle of life. Doesn't matter which engine you start with. You will have access to everything. Both profiles are available on the channel, so you guys check it out and hit the like button, hit subscribe, ding notification bell, and let's go. Ooh. Clearly, we got a hit right here. Oh! What? We have two! We have two! Okay, that's pretty good. Let's go to the games. Let's go to the games. It's time to duel! And check out MST.TV. So for our matchup here in the finals of the second tournament, we have Malice versus Malice. Matthew versus Will. Matthew is our third place player at our recent regionals playing Malice, and he definitely knows his ins and outs. And Will is known to be a bit of a very strong lucky player. And a little bit more emphasis on sometimes he does have some crazy hands that are impossible to beat. We're going to see if it's going to make a huge difference here in this particular finals match. And look forward to seeing some good games played by both of these players. So, Will goes first. Starts off with the Rabbit. Rabbit gets negated by the Infinite Impermanence, so we're not going to get the trap set. It doesn't even start with a set trap himself, not even a set spell to kind of bluff it. But we're going to go into Link Decoder, and he starts off with a Bestial Baldrake. Baldrake banishing the White Rabbit, summoning it back, taking 300 life points, and now we're summoning into our Red Ransom. And as we try to summon back our Link Decoder, that's going to be met with another Baldrake, this time coming from Matthew's side. And this is truly a mirror match. They're really using the same cards against each other now. Now, with the summon of Red Ransom, that was not negated, so we are still going to get Malice in Underground. So that does provide Will with additional follow-up. And it's been mentioned, and it's been said many times, that if you are playing against Malice and they play through your hand traps, it's gonna be a tough game. They're gonna go full combo, maybe 1 or 2 things less, but it's still more or less more than enough to stop you from doing anything. So they're gonna continue to activate stuff from the graveyard, or rather banish, and now that's gonna be the Dormouse. Dormouse is now going to activate and is going to put away the Chessy Cat. Chessy Cat activates and summons back onto the field, and that's a lot of bodies to play with. And Chessy Cat actually manages to successfully land an activation to banish and draw 2 cards. I don't know if it's something that you would normally stop, but it is what it is. And I think I got a peek of what Will just kind of drew into hand. He drew into a Dotscaper, which is definitely not ideal, especially when you want the Red Ransom to be the one summoning it. Now we're going to take all the 3 monsters and link summon into a White Binder. Level manipulation and body link rating manipulation is key here. So we're going to see a Serenir activated, and that's going to attempt to banish away one of the monsters there. I can't remember which one got banished. Was it the White Rabbit? Perhaps it was. We're just trying to minimize the amount of stuff that they can bring back and just keeping things permanently banished so that there's not going to be a lot of advantage rolling back and forth. And because there's no activation from the Red Ransom, Matt decides, you know what, Baldrake effect, we're going to be banishing away the Red Ransom, and so it's gone. So by attributing away or sending away the Serenir, Lots of Bestial. So this is a more Bestial heavy version of the Malice deck. I think both players are playing very, very similar builds. Okay, so we are going to see the White Binder setting one of the traps. I think that's MTP-07. And these trap names, MTP-07, GWC-06. And we're going to see two more cards set for Will, and Will is going to be passing turn. It took quite a few chunks out of his own life points, you know, down to 62. It's something you have to be careful of. Now, Malice is the one deck that does go up and down. Now, Matt's starting with a set card and then summoning out Dormouse and activating Dormouse's effect. Dormouse is going to be attempted to be negated by the Infinite Impermanence, but however, that's going to be chained onto an MTP-07, so that completely dodges the Infinite Impermanence. We're going to see the resolution of MTP-07, and then we're also going to see the resolution of our Dormouse banishing another card. We're going to see quite a few things summoned and quite a few activations on the next chain. So it's going to be Chessy Cat and Dormouse that's going to be activated, and the monster that was added to hand was none other than the White Rabbit. And with Chessy Cat, like, we can quite easily just banish and draw more cards, so the two monsters are going to be summoned, costing a total of 600 life points. Chessy Cat's now activating, and we know it's going to be the Rabbit that's going to get banished. The Rabbit can also jump onto the field. We're going to draw two cards for that Rabbit and get the additional summon, essentially just a pseudo Allure of Darkness-esque effect coming from that particular play. And now the Rabbit is going to activate and set a card on the board. Not looking too hot on Will's side right now. The advantage is slowly slipping away. The board control is slowly, well, getting out of control, and Matt is doing very well just to maintain control here. So there's two additional set cards. Is a White Binder. White Binder being on the field is not usually an ideal position, especially when you're about to end your turn, because once your trap cards are set for a whole turn, they do not require the banishing anymore, and usually you want to keep the banishing to keep the aggression going. And we're going to link away the Chessy Cat to go into our Linkaribo. Link summon into Lingaribo, so that's the trap negator. That's going to interact with at least one of the key trap cards, which would be like MTP-07, so that the banishing effect does not go through. And we're linking away the other Malice Pawn monster, and that's going to go into our Link decoder, so we're kind of seeing, you know, a repeat, a little bit of a deja vu here. And we're going to go see Red Ransom. And that's going to be met with a GWC-06. Is it going through? GWC-06 is good. And we're going to be summoning back our Red Ransom. And that's going to also boost the life points of Will up to 85, because that is a Link Malice monster. And continuing on, we just summoned the Red Ransom. We're getting a Malice Underground. Link Decoder did activate as well, so that's going to be summoned onto the field because we did link summon into a monster with 2,300 attack points. Now, Will also gets a copy of Malice and Underground because another Red Ransom was also summoned, so, you know, card for card, a little bit of a mirror match. If you look at it, the White Binder is acting as a little bit of a gateway, staring into each other. I love the placement of these zones. A little bit poetic. Okay. Now, one of the biggest advantages of going second when it comes to Malice is that you have access to none other than access code. And access code activates, there's no response to that. Yeah, there is no way that could have been activated because access code's activation does not allow for it. I think that's actually at the end of the chain. That must be at the end of the chain, and they're just playing a bit fast here. And, okay, so access code is now destroying the Red Ransom by banishing the Red Ransom. Man, it's gonna be a bit of a mouthful. So Will's Red Ransom is now destroyed, and Red Ransom has been resummoned on Matthew's side. And due to the resummoning and from the banish, we take 900 damage, and we get to summon out a Dotscaper along the way. So that's a 5,300 access code, a 2,300. That is a 2,300 Red Ransom, but there's also a Dotscaper. Are we gonna push it any further? What are we going to do about that particular White Binder? So you have a Bestial Baldrake. That's not bad. That's actually very, very strong. Baldrake is going to banish this Chessy Cat, and that's going to summon out the Baldrake. And I believe, yeah, that Chessy Cat's already been burned. So taking 3 monsters here, going into Heart's Cryptor, and we do have a fresh set trap in the back row, which means if we go into battle phase now, this is going to essentially attack for game. So access code is going to attack into the white binder for 3,000 damage, putting Will to 55, taking another swing for another 25, activating the GWC06. We're going to be banishing the Hard Scripter and summoning back Red Ransom, and we're going to summon back our Hard Scripter for another 5,000 damage, taking game number 1. So losing die roll might not be everything here, but now we can move on to game number 2. Game number 2, wow, this is starting off so fast. Okay, so starting with the Bestial Lubellion. That's going to be adding into our hand a Baldrake. Is your hand already just full of Bestials? When someone adds a Baldrake directly, that's what you think. Like, why don't you go for the Druis Worm? Why not the Magnamut? But we're going for that. We're going to set 2 pass. Was that it? Yeah, the hand must be full of Bestials. Well, that's not looking too hot on Will's side, but we're going to see where things are going to take here. So Matt's going to set 1 card to kind of preempt a little bit of security when it comes to normal summoning out one of the Malice monsters. Malice monster is going to be Malice upon Chessy Cat. Chessy Cat is going to be met with, wow, this is Artifact Sanctum. In other words, we are seeing an Artifact Lancia being special summoned onto the field. I mean, if there was an Ash in hand, you definitely tossed it on that right away, because that is a very, very problematic card. As when Chessy Cat attempts to activate, we're going to chain, or Will is going to chain that. Woo. That was a kind of cool effect. That essentially is Lancia, and I guess Matthew has nothing better to do than to poke Will in the face with the Chessy Cat. All right, you know, do as much as you can. Going into the Lingaribo, maybe stun out some of the trap cards. Man, that was a rough way to kind of lose a turn here, but we're going to see Will begin his turn with a White Rabbit summon. White Rabbit. There is a set. This is a bit risky. Is the other card gonna matter? No. Infinite Impermanent goes through. Okay, the column under the Lingaribo is now going to be negated as well. Just keep that in mind. And with the remaining of the monster, we're kind of seeing the repeat of game 1. Monster gets negated, and then it gets summoned by a Bestial. Bestial banishes the monster. We're going to continue to push. And now this time we have a Lubellion sending away the Magnamut, now setting up a Branded Regain. Now that is an extremely strong card, because if you are on the incorrect turn, say it's the opposing player's turn, it's going to be a tough battle against that Branded Regain, drawing cards and stopping your monster from being summoned out. That's like one of the key plays here. All right, continuing on, because we did go into Red Ransom with a Link Decoder. That's going to summon out the Link Decoder, as the Red Ransom was the monster that was summoned as a result. Link Decoder gets banished. Are we going to continue to Link all the way up? That is a Link 4. We're going to go into Access Code effect that's going to banish the Red Ransom. I guess there was also the targeting of Red Ransom as well, so that's going to be also going to summon back the Red Ransom. Red Ransom at 23, Access Code at 53. That's still slightly short. However, that's going to also banish a Chessy Cat. Oh, he banished it straight from the deck. Okay, so we can send on the Chessy Cat. We're going to go for a quick swing, and that's the Lingaribo. And we're just going to attack all the way through, and that's going to be 8,000 damage, and that swings for game. Man, these games are so quick. It almost kind of remind me of 10 Pi. All right, we're on to the all-important game number 3. Matthew versus Will. Seems like Will did get pretty lucky on the having access of the Artifact Lancia, whereas Matt did not have access to the Artifact Lancia. But who knows? Matt gets to, well, go first, and there's the Artifact Lancia. Yeah, he took no time. I think that was draw phase, Artifact Lancia. That's a turn skip. It is such a strong card, because most combos get shut down. There's not a lot of lines that you can do to kind of play around it. So we're going to see a Chessy Cat. Like, all the monster effects are completely turned off. You want White Rabbit, because White Rabbit provides you with something else. But we're going to go into Chessy Cat into a Lingaribo. Wow, talk about playing this game on hard mode. Your opponent seems to always have the Artifact Lancia. But here we go. And we're going to see the Bestial Lubellion. That means if Lubellion gets a setup, we're going to see a Branded Regain in the back. And that's going to make it very difficult for Matthew to even develop any sort of board presence if all of the monsters in the banish are going to be shuffled back into the deck and provide Will with additional draw. So the Dormouse now activates, and that's going to banish a card. No hand traps, or is it just all Bestials? Because game 1, Matthew did have all those Bestials, and we are successful with the Dormouse effect. Dormouse effect banishes the White Rabbit. We're going to take another 300 to summon back the White Rabbit, and White Rabbit is on summon effect, is now going to prepare a trap card in the back row. We're starting with a GWC this time. Okay, going second, you have to be able to adapt, and which is pretty smart because you're not trying to set up and get additional advantage, and rather summoning back a monster perhaps will prove to be much better when it comes to dealing with, you know, opposing forces and going for that damage. Taking the Dormouse body, link summoning into a link decoder, and then we're going to be banishing the Dormouse with the Magnemite, and we get the Magnemite summon, Magnemite also effect, and we're going to get the Bestial Lubellion. That's going to be summoned onto the field, and again, we're going to attempt to send up the Branded Regain. Do they always play the Branded Regain? You know, it makes me kind of wonder. Or is it like Branded Beast that they kind of side out? Do they even play Branded Beast? Some people do because like it's just, you know, one of the ways that you can remove anything off of the field, which is quite nice. Now we're going to take 3 of these smaller monsters and perform a Link Summon with them. Likely going into White Binder? No. We haven't even seen the Red Ransom yet. Red Ransom on summon effect, and we also get the effect of the Link Decoder. Link Decoder is also going to be met with a chain of a Bestial Serenir, so we are going to see some Bestials from Matthew's side. Not going to go down without a fight there. And the Malice and Underground added to Will's hand. Okay, Will's doing pretty good. I wonder which one of these players I'm going to be playing against. Well, you guys gotta sit back, relax, and watch some Yu-Gi-Oh! Hit that like button, hit subscribe, ding that notification bell. All these animations took a very long time, so I'm probably only going to do 1 game per, I guess, per Locals versus episode, because it is extremely tiring, and I'm also not in holiday mode. But anyways, continuing on, we're going to see the Lubellion and the Red Ransom. Red Ransom to go into the access code. Access code targeted the Red Ransom. Now it's going to be boosted by the attack, and then we're going to activate the effect of access code. That's going to banish the Red Ransom, summoning back the Red Ransom, also destroying a card on the field. That's going to be 53 and 23. That's not quite enough for the damage for the 8,000 just yet. Will proceeding to set a card on the field. I know he still has a GWC, but what are we doing here? So we are attempting to attack into the Lingaribo because he can't activate the GWC while that thing is still there, and proceeding to attack with the access code. Does the access code attack go through? No, it does not. It's just too much damage. It's not worth taking, and so that's going to be pushing forward a Magnemite onto the field by banishing the Chessie Cat, and that's also going to activate the effect of Magnemite. So end phase, we're also going to get that search. I believe both players are going to be able to get an end phase search here, and because they're summoned in defense mode, the life points are now safe from, well, it's close to lethal, but we're at 5,100 life points because the summoning back of Chessie Cat also took away another 300 life points. This is a lot to keep up. You know, a mirror match between Malice players, there's just non-stop activation. If you guys want an action-packed duel, this is the one to go for. It's not like Tenpai, you know, summon Chandra and extend hand for handshake. That's not the case here. Okay, so we're gonna go into Splash Mage? No, okay, Splash Mage, summon back White Rabbit. Okay, we get the Malice and Underground, so we're kind of linked down. Okay. And Malice and Underground's gonna banish our Chessie Cat. I think Chessie Cat's just a powerful monster, and it's gonna banish another copy of Chessie Cat. And that's gonna draw 2 cards. Oh, looking at Will's hand, he also is holding a Nibiru. But do you really want to wipe your own board? Okay, let's see where this is going. Proceeding to perform another Link Summon. I believe we are locked into Link Summon anyways. And don't forget, oh, right. So there are certain things to keep in mind that if you do activate Dormouse, there's also the attack points change that it's quite easily overlooked. And we're going to see the Heart's Cryptor banish away the Chessie Cat that's already been summoned from the banishment once. Okay. And careful, slippery sleeves. I noticed that Will is actually playing with proper zoning and Matthew isn't. Which is fine, as long as no one confuses anything. But usually whenever someone mixes the two together, it's judges are not lenient towards it because you're already doing something improper. And so it kind of like, you know, that police ticket, you know, where they catch you for speeding, but they also like start like writing up a huge ass bill when it comes to like, oh, your headlights, you know, your license plate's too dirty, it's obscuring. They start taxing on all those other things on top. This could be one of those scenarios, all right? Okay, so there's a Heart's Cryptor on board. We're going to pass turn. There is a Branded Regain on the field, making it very, very difficult for Matthew to kind of extend play. because some things are gonna be shuffled back into the deck and providing Will with the draw power. Okay, we're gonna start off. What is that on the summon of Dormouse? He's gonna flip an Artifact Sanctum. Who plays Artifact Sanctum going second? Did you guys hear that? He forgot to take it out. I'm lost for words here because that is not a common side. Okay, we're gonna see multiple things chain here, so that this is not the end here. So on the activation of the Artifact Lancia, we're gonna chain a Druisworm while we still can. And I don't think we have selected the target just yet. Oh, we're targeting the Lingaribo. And that's going to be met with a Bestial Baldrake. So the Druisworm isn't even going to summon out. And, okay, there it is. We get stunned out again. I think that's a pretty appropriate effect. You know, it's a board-wide game state changing effect. This is very restrictive. Okay, well, at least Baldrake isn't going to be able to banish anything because we're under Lancia now, but it doesn't really matter. Again, a second turn skip. That's Lancia into Lancia. What is going on? That's like that's 2 Lancias already. Like, if you're saying this isn't hard mode, this is like super hard mode. It's like playing, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's like having like 3 auto turn skips. I feel like Will's just playing Uno at this point, and he's just holding all the skips in his hand. Okay, so we're passing turn. It's back to Will's turn, and here we have the normal summon out of the White Rabbit. White Rabbit effect. We're going to be setting up one of our trap cards, and it is, I think that was TP11. It was a bit quick. Okay, we are linking 3 into White Binder. This is going to be very dangerous. We have ourselves the Heart's Cryptor and the White Rabbit, so that is going to be 900, 300, 1200 worth of damage that is going to be paid for. And then, wow, just to follow up, we're going to make a Lingaribo so that the back row can't be accessed. Oh, wow, that is a very clutch Nibiru. Nibiru has now been activated on Matthew's side. I don't think there's any sort of monster negation here. There's a trap negation from the Lingaribo, but there is definitely nothing here available to stop the giant rock from smashing onto the field, making those Malice monsters completely extinct. And, you know, simulating the dinosaurs, I guess. You know, that's not the best cosplay, roleplay you want to play right now, especially with a Nibiru coming down. Okay, so there is the... Oh, so the card that was set was not TB11. It probably was an MTP07. And so the TB11 now summons out the Dormouse. Remember, that monster cannot declare an attack or activate its effects. And are we taking the monster? So, okay, linking them off. Generic monsters, I believe you can go into Haggard Lizardoise, and that's going to activate for cost. It's going to banish the White Binder, but I don't think that's actually possible. It needs to be under 2000 attack. So Will, you get a procedural error minor, and that's for illegal target for a Haggard Lizardoise. Switching into Dormouse. Dormouse didn't really activate its effect anyway, so that's fine. Dormouse effect summon itself back. That's another 300 life points that's going to come out of your paycheck. Alright, it's okay. This deck makes enough money anyway with the GWC. So Haggard Lizardoise, it's going to go to the graveyard with the Dormouse. What monster can you even make now? Didn't you already summon every Malice Queen available? I think the only way that you can really play here is just... Yep, that's right. Using the Malice Underground that you added in last turn, banishing the White Binder. White Binder effect, summoning herself back, taking 900 life points, and then further paying for even more upkeep. But first, we're going to be setting a card? Wait. Doesn't she draw a card when she summoned? Maybe Will forgot. Maybe I missed the action taking place. But the GWC has been reset. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Matt's feeling it here, where it's like, why does it matter? But to be fair on Will's side, if you're going to be siding like 3 like Lancias anyway, like if you successfully Lancia your opponent once, then you get to re-Lancia your opponent again. I mean, it doesn't feel that like behind. It almost feels like you got back turn 1. Oh, we're going to see some Nightmare Griffin play, though. This one's co-linked. Throwing away the Moltrami Furlos, as that's never going to activate anymore anyways in this duel. Oh my goodness, why? This is infinite. You can infinitely just Lancia the opponent's turn at this rate. You put back the Sanctum, you're going to get another one. Are we eating a third Lancia? Oh, I thought he was gonna go into like a Bawaku or something, like a Bawaku, and then just summon back the Lancia. You know, like that's also another play you could do. It's pretty nasty. I'm just saying. Okay, we're gonna start off the play with the Gold Sarcophagus. Luckily, this was before the activation of the Lancia, because the Lancia has to get summoned first through the Artifact Sanctum. So GWC, and there's the Sanctum Chain on top of the GWC. Will needs to basically play out all of his banished base plays also, because Lancia does lock both of them out. It's not a Chaos Hunter where only one side gets locked out. But anyways, moving on, we have the GWC. GWC is also going to boost the life points because that is a white binder, so Will moves back up. You know, it was payday, he got paid again, so he's gonna be able to afford for all of these, you know, Malice figures that he's gonna constantly expend, you know, all of his life points on. Anyways, continuing in here, we're gonna white binder, going for the Hard Scripter, and the Red Ransom, and the TB11, banishing all of those just so that they can be cycled back, I believe, because there's a Hard Scripter. Really good job cycling all those trap cards. Dormouse also now gets summoned out. This is such a bad position for Matthew to be in, because that lands, he could just go off at any point and be like, hey, that's the end of the banish, and welcome to round 3 of Artifact Lancia versus Malice. Okay, so you gotta be very careful with these chain links here. We're gonna activate the Malice White Rabbit on Matthew's side. That was his normal summon. Activate the effect, and is it gonna be enough? Is it gonna provide him with enough follow-up so that he does not kind of lose on the following turn? This is a tough call he has to make, but so far holding on pretty well, surviving, I guess, 2 lethal shots towards his life points. All right, setting one of the trap cards into the back row. I would say Matthew, you know, being in the hard mode, I think if he was able to skip Will's turn back once, Matthew probably could have taken this. He's very, very effective at playing under that Lancia. You can see why to top with Lancia, like to top with Malice, you need to be able to keep on pushing through those Lancias, because everyone's going to side 3 copies, everyone's going to side the Artifact Sanctum, and if they already main deck Triple Tactics Thrust, you can expect those cards to be set on the field, making it very difficult for you to even interact and even make a simple exchange against your opponent. Okay, so this is tough. If you call Dormouse, will the Lancia go through? Whoa. Okay, this is kind of reminiscent of Rizio summoning out Detonator really early so that the Malice monster has the priority and control over the timing. We're going to see Hard Scripter activate, and that's going to be targeting the Chessie Cat. And Will chains the Artifact Lancia. Okay, are we following up with that? I mean, you can follow up with that. It's not too bad if you want to follow up. Remember, that monster is linked because Heart Scripter is pointing to, what's her name? The Red Ransom. And we're going to chain a Druid Worm to get the most out of our situation here. Just get rid of those Lancias. Screw the Lancias. They're really annoying, but I guess there are probably better cards you can probably banish. But the access code is gone. Lots and lots of Will's extra deck has been expended already. You guys are wondering, am I tired of constantly talking? The answer is yes. Oh, we're going to be banishing our own Bestial Magnamut? I guess it's kind of a bait play, because do you want to shuffle back Bestial Magnamut back into your opponent's deck with a Branded Regain? Probably not. Okay, so now that we got most of the banish plays live, he's going to attempt to banish the... No, that's not going to work. Artifact Lancia is live. It was chained after. It was chained after the fact. You can't... That's not getting banished, yeah. That's not getting banished. It's not that Hard Scripter is getting negated. Hard Scripter just can't perform the action. There was some performance anxiety there, so it didn't work. The Lancia went first. And so, Branded Regain's just going to put back the Hard Scripter into the extra deck. That's going to be another hard one to make back onto the field, especially with so much expended resources. And Lancia for the 3rd time. I don't think Matthew has played a single turn not under Lancia, so there's that. I mean, it is a rough time out here, okay, guys? You know, the economy's not looking too hot here on the Malice side. And, oh, so Druid Swarm's now going to be sent to the graveyard to perform a Link Summon into our Dark. Is there anything for Dark to special summon back? I mean, most of the Malice deck is technically Dark. Lots of options. but is there any good options? Now that takes care of the Nightmare Griffin. Griffin's so interesting. It's a light fiend, so if you do take control of it, you can probably just go for a Fiendsmith combo. I'm just saying. And it's technically a fiend. That's pretty cool. Okay, we are pushing forward with a Dark Summon. Dark plus another monster going into another Link Summon. And that's going to be a White Binder. White Binder effect to set onto the field, because we cannot banish cards right now, so that is one of the biggest limitations. Without the ability to banish cards, the Heart's Cryptor also gets turned off. And so White Binder is setting a card, MTP 07. That's a really strong card, but is that going to be enough? Does MTP 07 only hit your opponent's card? I feel like the only chance this is going to work is if Matthew is able to banish his own monster. Like, as weird as that may sound, I feel like that's like one of the best ways. Oh, and that Malice White Rabbit belongs to Will. Yeah, that's kind of a pricey card. Let's keep the ownership of cards in the correct side of the field. So we're gonna go into battle phase. Battle phase. Heart's Cryptor is gonna attempt to attack into the White Binder. That's gonna be met with the MTP 07, and 07 is going to activate, adding the Dormouse into hand. I wish this could be damaged up because that would have been super hot, but we're gonna be banishing the White Binder. However, Will wants to, wait, I guess I'll chain on top of that. However, that doesn't really work, because this is where the turn player part does matter. Turn player has the priority of Chainlink 1, and so Chainlink 2, the White Binder comes back before the banishing from, or rather the return to the extra deck from the Rebranded Regain. And this is also going to allow for a triple summon play. 1, 2, and 3. That's 900 life points for each of the Malice pawn names. And that's so much stuff. On summon, there's probably going to be a White Rabbit, perhaps. Or there's no trap cards left, and ignore that previous statement. And MTP 07 is now going to activate on William's side. William's going to activate that, banishing the White Binder. But we still have established a full wall to protect the life points, and it does seem like survival is key here. And from 27, we go down to 400 life points. Surviving for the whole turn here. Wild. That is wild. I think did I mess up life points somewhere along the way? I might have, but into the Firewall Dragon. Oh, this is disgusting. Going into the Firewall at this point with a double co-link, that is essentially just not letting the other guy play. Normal summon a White Rabbit. Do you know which card I would add back with Firewall Dragon at this point? Yeah, Firewall. Bounce that card back. It's not going to do anything. Just add a Lancia. Add a Lancia and just play Lancia. 4 Lancias in one game. So congratulations, Matthew. You've unlocked the secret menu. The secret menu to play the unbeatable difficulty. It's so unbeatable that I can't even say it right. You get the GWC. Oh, he didn't add that. He added a Bistio. Why would you add a Bistio? I'll just go for the Lancia. I bet, like, Dahlia, you're probably seeing this like, wow, that's gross. Okay. Oh, is this a chance? Is it a chance? We get ourselves a Triple Tactics talent, a TTT. Will this TTT spill the tea? Will it get there? I don't know if this game could get any harder for Matthew now. He's eaten everything. He's expended the opponent's entire extra. We're going to take control of that Malice. Q. And we're going to take the Queen of the White Binder. And then that's going to summon back on Will's side through the activation of the GWC06. The Malice Queen of Hearts Cryptor. But you don't really want to banish your own, would you? I think, yeah, you might. You might want to banish your own card. Okay. We're going to, or rather Matt's going to activate the trap card GWC, banishing the opponent's White Binder, summoning his own White Binder back onto the field, and therefore that's going to lead into well, a banished play because Will didn't add the Lancia earlier on. Is this actually going to bite Will because he didn't add the Lancia back? I don't know. This seems kind of tough. Regardless. Okay, White Binder got banished. Of course, White Binder is going to come back. There's going to be a draw effect going on. There's going to be so much going on. 2,700 life points and 9,100 life points. Yeah, it seems like the IRS caught up with Matt. Matt has to pay all the taxes, whereas Will somehow, manages to put away all of his assets so that his assets are no longer considered as a part of his income. So he has 0 income, therefore dodging the taxes. That's how Will's playing. That, and he also inherited 3 Lancias. And he's so rich that he decided to leave the Lancia. Consider Lancias as Ferraris in this matchup because it's so good. It's so good. Matthew running out of option. Will just sitting there be like, what's up, mate? What you gonna do about all the Lancias that I just played against you? I don't think you can do anything about my Lancias. Okay, let's see this. We're going to be activating the TB11. TB11 is going to be banishing the copy of White Binder with 3 or more monster. We're looking at the extra deck here. What? That is usually like not a common effect to use because 2 purposes for that particular effect for the extra deck monster. 1, you're chaining it to an MTB07, and that's going to be giving you the banishing effect, which is one of the correct ways of using it. Second way is to instant jump into access code. But it's GG. Matthew scoops it up. There was just no way. This was like a boss room, and then it's a red boss room, and then you realize you're under leveled, and there's no Lancia. All right, Will. Congratulations on winning locals today. Tell me, how do you get that good at playing Malice?
Unlucky. I kept sacking for some reason. I've been known around here to be the sacker.
Why do you have Sanctum going second?
I forgot to side it out.
After you resolve the first Lancia, then the Sanctum definitely like, yeah, you know what? It's kind of like I went first again.
Yeah, basically.
And as for Matt, I feel like this game couldn't have gotten any harder for you.
I had to think about it really hard.
It was like you try to keep on pushing and pushing. I'm like, yeah, but he like Lancia'd you 3 times.
Yeah.
One for access scope for a push for game, and you had to deal with branded regain, constantly shuffling your stuff back. I don't know what else you got.
No, it was tough.
I think if one of those Lancias didn't go through, I think you would have taken it.
If I drew my own cross out or my own Lancias, maybe, yeah.
But you also demonstrate why you were able to get your 3rd place at regionals. Playing through stuff like this. I mean, that's like impossible. It's like asking to play against Ryzio, but remember, there's 3D barrier set.
True.
That's exactly how it felt. All right, good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Into our bonus round, there's me versus the Sack King himself, Will. So this is a little bit of a bonus round. We are not animating this time. I'm only going to animate 1 game per session. It's a lot of work. All right, so Azamina, Chimera, Fiendsmith versus Malice. How's this going to work out? Will my deck keep me in check? I know I was going to play Will if I just played out my round, probably. Unless, of course, I would have lost to Eric and then probably would have not played him. And he rolled a 4, and I rolled a 6. So I guess I'm going to choose to go first. Good luck, good luck. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's play the game. All right, so you guys wanted to see Chimera in action. This is Chimera in action. So we're going to start off with the special summon of the Apprentice. Which is Apprentice? No, that's not the call of the monster. Nightmare Apprentice. It's Nightmare Apprentice. Adding into a Kodo into a Gazelle. So this is the Chimera starting line. Each of the starting lines, they all end on the same thing. Thanks to About Existing and also the LZ, the Azamina of the White Forest. So we can normal summon out the Gazelle. Gazelle add the Chimera Fusion. Activate the Chimera Fusion. Fuse away the Gazelle and the Nightmare Apprentice. This is 100% got to be Baphomet. I know that the Baphomet has to be the first play. You almost want to play 2 copies of Baphomet from this line now because you can actually cycle it twice. If you figure out how to cycle it twice, then you should try to cycle it twice. But otherwise, the extra deck is super, super tight. There is no actual freedom for anything. Maybe except for one card, but okay, Berfament. Now you have to determine which chain link is more important. Enabling the Fiendsmith line or enabling the Azamina line. This one fusion that went off automatically gives you both lines. So we're going to dump into the graveyard the Evil Hero Sinister Necrom and add to our hand LZ, the Azamina of the White Forest. And we're going to add back to our hand the Chimera fusion so that we have the option to fuse off in the future, just in case we going to take a hit from Infinite Impermanence or anything that targets or destroys. We're now going to special summon out the Azamina LZ by activating, revealing itself, and then summoning back an illusion, or I think it's illusion or spellcaster from the hand or something like that. But regardless, we summon it out. Now we perform and use the effect and perform a fusion summon into Moa Regina. It's an Azamina monster. You can only fuse for Azamina monster. We're going to special summon back to Moa Regina, the LZ, and that goes for the level 10. Performing our first synchro summon, which is going to be the Chaos Angel. And if you use LZ as a material for a synchro summon, that allows you to add a Sinful Spoil card from the deck to the hand. So this allows us to add Deception. We're essentially just showcasing a combo demo now. Nothing new here. If you guys want to see the full combo, you guys can check it out in one of the other videos. So we're going to activate Deception. We're going to toss away the second Fuerlos. First one was ditched by the Nightmare Apprentice. The second copy here, we're just using a paid cost. So this essentially kind of counts down everything that you needed to ditch. Like if you're going to start with the Apprentice line, you're going to need multiple things to ditch. Now we have performed our summon to the Hallowed Azamina into Azamina Mu Restialgo. And we're going to add back the Hallowed Azamina right away. And from the Restialgo, we have added Wanted. This allows us to go Chainlink 1, Hallowed Chainlink 2, Wanted. And we put back the LZ back into the deck so we can actually keep the body this time without wasting it. So, Chainlink 1, Hallowed Azamina. Chainlink 2, Wanted. The Secret Simple Spoils. This adds the Witch into our hand, and this provides us with additional follow-up later on, as well as bodies to play with and perform link summons with. Now, before we go into anything crazy, of course, send away the Wanted Secret Simple Spoils to summon out Silveria. So now we have our Omni Negate number 1 on here. So one of the crazy things about Chimera is that as you build your board, you build your negations as a part of the board, as a part of the combo, making it less and less likely for you to interact against them in the case that they build a board. Because what's next? They can build another Omni Negate through the Fiendsmith line, now activating the effect of Sinister Necrom. Sinister Necrom will summon out a Light Fiend monster, Evil Hero, a Dusted Gold, and that leads to the entire Fiendsmith engine. We are only kind of sandwiching the two engines together here. By sandwiching, I mean you start with a Chimera, but you also end on Chimera. But we haven't gotten to that point yet. Now we take the Evil Hero, go into the Requiem here. Am I going to eat a big hand trap here? Or are you going to try to Nibiru me here? It's not going to work because there's going to be the Silveria that's already on the field. And even if the Nibiru does come down, the monster that will survive, I'm not going to lie, it's going to be the Chaos Angel. It is light dark material. And we're trying to minimize the amount of cost we have to spend for all our cards. So now we go for the Witch. And which we use the equip from the Requiem onto the Lacrima. Lacrima dumped the Fiendsmith into the graveyard. And now we have a board full of monsters. And on the summon of Diabellstar, the Black Witch, we have now set on the field Sinful Spoil of the White Forest, which is a fusion spell or a summon from hand. Okay, so taking the Lacrima and the Murcielago, that's going to link summon into Fiendsmith's Sequence now. Sequence can still perform a fusion with two of the monsters, and we're just kind of holding back from using our Fiendsmith. But this is something that's still very much possible. We're using the effect of Sequence. We're putting back the copy of Lacrima and the Evil Hero. And this is going to summon out Aerial Eater effect, drop a fiend into the graveyard. That's going to be Big Wing Bird from it. We don't need to actually summon this card from the Mirror Sword Knight anymore because this is a dark monster. Next line, we're going to continue into the Fiendsmith. The Fiendsmith, that's going to enable us to get into the D-Wave Viking Caesar, 2 level 6 fiends, and therefore now we're definitely nib safe. Take 3 of the monsters here, create our link for it. This is going to special summon and link summon into Abao the Lightless Shadow. We're going to discard a card to activate the Abow's effect to summon back the Baphomet. That's also going to banish itself to the end phase. So that's not supposed to be on the field right now. So essentially no disruption from Will. I expected more from Will, considering that he's always able to kind of drop some big hand traps against us. And well, in any case, we got ourselves the summon of Baphomet at Gazelle, and the Chimera Fusion. We're going to play the Chimera Fusion, summon out into Chimera, the King of Phantom Beast. That's going to activate. Also going to rip a card out of Will's hand. So eating this full combo, not the easiest thing to take, but here we go. And don't forget, we also just used the Baphomet as a fusion material, so it allows us to special summon back one from the graveyard, the Mo Regina, because if you activate a Sinful Spoil or the Azamina, then you're usually going to be in a pretty good spot. So we got a Bow, we got to rip a card out of Will's hand. This is number 4, so the 4th card closest to the deck, well, 2nd card closest to the deck, gets to be sent to the graveyard. So overall, that card gets discarded. We have one set, one card in hand. This is very interesting, very dangerous situation that is the full board right here. So if we're gonna count disruptions here, there's 2 summon disruptions, which is from the Wave King Caesar. I don't think there's any of the names loaded for Mirror Sword Knight, so I don't think that really matters. There's 2 fusion spells. There's 1 card left in the hand. I think there's a mystery set. And he's going to start off with Chessy Cat. All right, Chessy Cat summon. Do we allow this to go through? I mean, it's very difficult to kind of make that analysis because a Triple Tactics Thrust or Triple Tactics Talent, they could all spell doom for this entire field. All right, the 3rd card set was a deception because we forgot to just draw another card. So slight misplay on my part. Chessy Cat, do you want to give him the draw? Probably. I mean, it's not a summon-based effect. There's no real threats here. But if I watch the game between Will and Matthew, I think minimizing the amount of stuff on the field is pretty much essential. But it seems like it's good. He gets to banish his White Rabbit, draw 2 cards. On the attempt of White Rabbit, he's going to pay 300 life points, and I will activate my DDD Wave Hiking Seas just negate that summon, so that's not going to happen. He's now going to activate Allure of Darkness to continue to combo, continue trying to generate bodies while maintaining resources. I think Allure of Darkness is ridiculously powerful here, as not only does it provide him with a card, but it provides him with a follow-up. So it's free. It's a Pot of Greed. And it's going to banish the Dormouse. Dormouse is going to pay 300, and that's not going to come back onto the field. But the DDD Wave Hiking Seas is now completely burnt out. And now there's an actual follow-up here. Very problematic. The Bestial Lubellion. Yeah, we're not going to allow a full chain of monsters to come back for free. Or are we just going to let him get the card anyway? No, we're going to take that away. The opportunity is going to be gone. And he already had the Branded Regain. And here's Malice and Underground. Man, the whole hand is just all gas here. A Bow still around here, but like we're running out of disruption. We have to perform fusion-based play. But one of the issues of Sinful Spoils with White Forest is that I activate it. What can I actually fuse into? Well, I have to destroy the 2 spell cards just so that there's no further activation, which is very, very important. But I have to resolve the fusion here. Otherwise, this would be an illegal play, and a double illegal play for that matter, because the Beast has to go. I'm pretty sure that the Beast has to go. This is going to fuse into with a Chimera name and an Illusion monster. We're going to go for Chimera, the Illusion Beast. So this is still within the correct family of monsters, and therefore the activation was completely legal. Although I did kind of get rid of my own monster, but it's not too bad putting the Chimera, the King of Phantom Beast, into the graveyard, as it can special summon back basically anything from the graveyard. That Chaos Angel can get summoned back and banish a card. But banishing a card is actually not a good idea against Malice, so that's why that is the idea that we kind of just pass on. But instead, what we do here is that we special summon back the Ilia Sylvia instead, and we're just going to battle phase and attack 3 times per game. Yeah, that was pretty much easy because it can't destroy by battle, and every monster was too big. So game 1, I take that one. It was just essentially a combo demo where he had to sit back and take it as a student, where I, the teacher, will just take away all his life points. All right, so game 2. will he get to destroy me? So he starts off with the Gold Sarcophagus. Gold Sarcophagus into a Dormouse. Dormouse activates its effect to summon back 300 life points and activate the effect again. And now we're going to set up a White Rabbit into the Banishment. Banishment, that means the White Rabbit likely will activate and summon out, and that's going to cost another 300 life points. Well, still pretty good. Very difficult to interact here. I wish I had better interactions here. We got to get revenge. We got to get revenge for Matt, because he ate all those Lancias. He ate enough Lancias to last a whole season of Yu-Gi-Oh! And we're going to continue pushing. Dormouse, Dormouse into Link Decoder. I wish I had Bistios to banish that Link Decoder, because we're going to see a Red Ransom being Link summoned right now. Red Ransom effect. That's going to be Chain Link, 1 Chain Link, 2 Link Decoder, special summons out. And we get ourselves Malice in Underground added to Will's hand. This makes life a whole lot more difficult. The extenders are here. The bodies are here to stay. You know, they just checked into this dueling arena. This is the hotel. This is the reception desk speaking. And we have an SP Little Knight. This part here, I clearly did not pay attention. I forgot that he added Malice in Underground. I wasn't paying attention to that particular part. I'm like, how many cards do you have in your hand? Yeah, if I just stop this summon from happening, I can stop everything, right? Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. Like Mouse in Underground. Now Mouse in Underground can legitimately just banish the Red Ransom out of the graveyard. I'm like, whoops. Clearly make a misplay. I'm going to point out all of my misplays here, because sometimes when you don't pay attention, you don't pay attention. All right? Okay, so the Red Ransom has now been summoned onto the field. With the Red Ransom on the field being banished, it's going to be able to banish a Thoughtscaper. I really wish that was in his hand as well, but apparently not. Thoughtscaper special summons, and now we're going to see a further Link summon. And considering that was a Link 2, we can just use that to go into White Binder. White Binder banishes, I think, Chessy Cat and Chessy Cat effect. And actually no effect on Chessy Cat, but rather White Binder effect. We did a little bit of skipping right there, and we're going to set the GWC. And yeah, the card set was the GWC, taking 3 monsters. We are going to Hard Scripture. I am in so much danger here. Perhaps I'll survive. Maybe I'll survive. I wish I can survive. Nope, we're going to go for GWC. GWC summons back the White Binder, and Hard Scripture effect is going to activate and summon herself back onto the field. Oh, we are going for lockout plays now, because we have now just banished the White Binder, summoned a Dormouse, and now White Binder can finally activate its effect to summon back from banishment. And that's going to cost another 900 life points. Man, that's a lot of life points cost right here. But I think this is going to be a very big problem. Okay, so this is going to be a Link 4 play going into Nightmare Griffin. Nightmare Griffin, we're going to discard an Ash Blossom. Does that mean he has a second copy in his hand? Usually when someone throws away a card as powerful as Ash, that's what's happened. But now he managed to reset his GWC without losing, tempo to fetch it back. Taking the White Binder and the Griffin, that's going to go into About You. And the Griffin is technically a Fiend monster. So About You is gonna, oh my goodness, he follows up with a triple tactics thrust, making it even more difficult to play around. It's gonna be a D barrier in the back row. At least it's not an Artifact Sanctum, am I right? But this is still very painful, because fusions are very key to this deck, and having that right there is gonna be rough. And he pushes. He did have another Ash Blossom, and he's going to banish the About to summon back the Nightmare Griffin. And then during the end phase, it comes back, making the co-link and removing all of the arrows that I could possibly use to get my effects active. As if my monsters special summoned, if they're not linked, they will not be able to activate their effects thanks to that Nightmare Griffin. Very, very annoying. Draw, and okay, if you guys got a glimpse of that, that was 6-card Artifact Lancia. You know what? My favorite. I love eating that for breakfast. 6-card Maxi, 6-card Nibiru, coming to a Walmart near you. Now, I am actually taking the time to contemplate this, because there is a chance I can play through this, but that doesn't work if his cards start to activate. So if I just held on to that Ghost Bell, I think this would have been a lot easier because the GWC will not go through. It is a very difficult time to answer a bow as well, because a bow being on the field makes life so hard, because it just means that white binder can be summoned back no matter whatever the means it is. But he doesn't have any cards in hand, which means I'm okay to push through. But if he generates any card in hand, this is going to be a problem, and that would be the GWC now activating, and I'm really hoping that he doesn't get to add a card into his hand, because that would be very, very problematic. So we also have the Deception already live here. It goes for the White Binder summon. White Binder likely follows up here. Activate the White Binder. Oh my goodness. Heart Scripter. Now he has a banish base option. Red Ransom to help him get another copy of Malice in Underground, and also banishing the trap card. This little play here makes it super live for all of the cards that are about to be summoned. Red Ransom effect, getting the Malice in Underground, and that loads his hand up now, which means a bow is also live. Oh, and yeah, my Deception doesn't get blown up. Yeah, we just kind of solved the situation. Yeah, there's no effects here that would actually destroy it. So one of the biggest misplays on my side right now is that the Gazelle isn't under one of the extra monster zone. That was one of the most significant misplays that prevented me from pushing through, especially with a card like Triple Tactics. So we are seeing the... Yep. We're seeing the Heart Scripter banish the Deception. The graveyard is technically loaded with a Necrom, so it's possible to bridge into Fiendsmith, but do I even get to start this entire engine? That's a different story. Activating Triple Tactics Talent. I actually misplayed 3 times this game, and this is one of those positions. They contemplated that I should probably have taken the Griffin and used that to start off the Fiendsmith line. I'm not too sure of what I think about it, because I already have the Fiendsmith line. I'd rather take the Disruption, which would have been a bow. And if I took Heart Scripter, it wouldn't do anything. A bow is the one that both of us can attempt to use, and I want to see if I can just take a bow and have it pointed to my Gazelle. And if it's pointed to my Gazelle, then I can use the Destruction effect to just remove some of the more problematic cards. But knowing that the back row, the second card closest to the deck, is a D barrier, it's not looking too bright on my side. Activate Sinister Necrom. Now, I know that multiple Ashes have already been banished or used or tossed away to pay cost. It's not going to work very well. So we go to the Adusted Gold summon. And this is the worst part. MTP-07, ready to banish away. What exactly? What are you gonna banish, Will? Yeah, no, he's gonna be able to add the card and he's gonna get the banish. And what is he gonna banish here? It resolves. And the answer to this is going to be the bow. Yeah, you just can't let me keep that card. That card is very, very strong. And so banishing it is the right call. He gets to add a card, and now I notice my problem. This is the moment I realized that, hey, I probably needed, well, something. I needed something that can point to this Requiem, because nothing's pointing to it. It's basically game over, and I think I scoop it up here. Yeah, there's no point in continuing, because that huge misplay right there definitely cost everything. And now we move on to the all-important game number 3. Game number 3. I got to start with a Wanted. I believe that is draw phase. I think I have a Fuelos in hand, but I think the Fuelos is only there because I have Crossout. Therefore, my Crossout target is completely missing for the Fuelos. I'm hoping I don't get hit by Fuelos. Adding the Diabell Star to the Black Witch into hand. And because of that, we are insulating ourselves from the Infinite Impermanence by special summoning out Diabellze immediately, because we have a Sinful Spoil. We get that free summon. We're going to throw into the graveyard our Fuelos, because we're no longer going to need it, as we have committed one monster. I'm looking at my hand. I'm like, wow, this is actually a very awkward hand, because most of these combos for Chimera is technically a 1 and 2 card discard combo. You have one starting piece, and then you have the 2 pieces that need to offer discard or bodies for that, which is very, very difficult. Now, also in my hand, I think I see an Artifact Lancia, so Will can finally get a taste of his own medicine in this game, hopefully. And there is also the card I'm holding. I don't have enough monsters. I don't want to sacrifice my Artifact Lancia, but that means I'm going to have to give up on Diabelze, the Black Witch. But, I mean, still, we already fetched into the card that we wanted, so Diabelze, the Black Witch, can now be sent to the graveyard for Deception. Deception now adds Hallowed Azamina. With Hallowed Azamina, we can get ourselves the Omni Negate. We can get ourselves Musolago. Okay, so activating Hallowed Azamina. Unfortunately, I really don't want to get rid of my Artifact Lancia. That Lancia is just way too important. I can just buy back a turn. I don't need to build a full board if I can skip my opponent's turn. Into the Murcielago. And there was an Infinite Impermanence that was blocked earlier thanks to the Diabelze existing. Well, now we're kind of stuck here. What do we do here exactly? Well, let's try to figure that out. We have a Wanted. We might as well activate the Wanted. Wanted activated. We're going to put back the Deception to the bottom of the deck. My opponent can shuffle the deck now. Are you going to shuffle the deck? Shuffle the deck, bottom deck, and draw a card. I'm banking. I'm praying that this is a monster. And it is a monster. It is Fiend's Retract. It gave me the entirety of a second engine. I love this because that's what we really wanted to see. Something like that. Something like a Fiendsmith Engraver. And so we're activating the Fiendsmith Retract from the cards that we just added. This allows me to grab a Fiendsmith card, rather a Light Fiend card. We're going to go for Fabled Lurie. Fabled Lurie can really work its magic here. Discard the Fabled Lurie, and because it was discarded, Fabled Lurie will now summon itself back onto the field in attack position. Because, why not? I'm going to link it off. Link summon into the Requiem. It has to be Requiem. So, Requiem, effect. We're going to meet an Ash Blossom along the way? No, it seems like their paths didn't cross today. Which is going to lead to a Lacrima being summoned onto the field. Lacrima of the Scarlet Tears. Lacrima effect. We're going to send to the graveyard like the Engraver. Engraver has been sent to grave. And with the Murcielago and the Lacrima, that's going to go into Fiends with Sequence effect. That is going to be met with Bestial Druid Worm, banishing our copy of the Engraver, which is fine, actually. This is the one deck that can summon back banished Fiends. So we are going to continue and move forward with the Lurie and the Lacrima. If you guys can't hear the difference, I am actually pretty tired here. It is currently like 1:24 a.m. I've had 2 hours of sleep every day for the last few days because scheduling is so tight. But into the Aerial Eater dumps in the graveyard, burn from it, and with everything that we have available here, we can still continue to combo, eating the Infinite Impermanence and a Druid Worm. This is a double hand trap eat that we just had. Luckily, it's not a third hand trap. We can probably put the Hallowed Azamina back into our hand, as that's a possibility now with the Murcielago in the graveyard, so we don't have to lose out on all our material. And the thing is, we already have a Sinful Spoil card in hand, which is Sinful Spoil with the White Forest. We can generate that Omni Negate right from this particular point. But the Omni Negate is not going to be as strong with the Druid Worm already summoned onto the field. If he can generate that one crash, it's going to be a very difficult game. So, Hallowed Azamina activated. Yeah, we're just going to summon the Sylvia onto the field, sending away the that's the Sinful Spoil of the White Forest. And we're going to take all of our monsters here to make a bow. We have one card left in hand, and that is going to be a very crucial piece here. We're going to activate a bow. The Lightless Shadow. Abawaku, the Lightless Shadow. We're going to banish you till the end of the turn. We're giving up on that Artifact Lancia. That's actually not true. We are not giving up on Artifact Lancia at all, because guess what? Abawaku can special summon it back from the graveyard. So putting in the graveyard didn't really hinder it all that much. So from here, we're going to be able to grab the Baphomet Summon, and now we're locked into fusion, adding a Chimera fusion and a Gazelle, the king of mythical claws. Might as well just activate the card. Activate the card performing a fusion summon. Are we getting locked out here? Will gives himself a bit of a hand check just to make sure everything's working out correctly. And so we performed the fusion successfully, which is going to provide us with multiple things. We're going to get a search from the Gazelle. We're also going to get a Baphomet. Baphomet's going to send another card into the graveyard. What would you even send at this point? I mean, you can actually resend back the Fiendsmith. And also, Baphomet can special summon back the Diabelze. So, one misplay is the Diabelze is in attack position, because that means the Jerusalem gets to crash and destroy, or rather send to the graveyard, the Ilia Sylvia, which is very, very problematic. Now, at this rate, what are we going to try to push for? I believe you can still get back the Chimera fusion. And with the Gazelle, it's possible to add into different types of illusion monsters, but we're going to go for Azamina LZ. Azamina LZ, yeah, we can go for 2 different methods here. Send to the graveyard, Fiendsmith Engraver. That would probably be the most ideal one, because apparently I think I sided that out. We're going to go for the Nightmare Apprentice, which is also not a bad choice. So, getting back the Chimera fusion at the end of this chain, in a new chain, summon out the LZ from hand, perform a fusion through the effect of the LZ. That's going to summon out Mora Regina. Mora Regina effect now can summon the Apprentice onto the field, which will now unload us with additional cards. The whole name of the game when it comes to Chimera is hand manipulation and hand control. If you can control your hand perfectly, I mean, I'm down to 1 card, but I'm retrieving quite a lot. And that's going to help me add Kodo from the summon of the Apprentice, and from the Kodo effect, that's going to lead into the Mirror Sword Knight. The MSK, we are getting the Mirror Sword Knight. The old 1-card combo OTK. Is it live here? I'm going first right now, so who knows? But considering that I did eat Druid's Worm plus an Imperm and still ending on a board like this, that's not too bad. It's just that the whole point of the deck now is to make sure that my opponent can't really do anything as I combo off super, super hard. And we get a Bao comes back, and the entire field is now full of monsters that are above 2,000 attack, except for Ilia. Alright? Sylvia doesn't count. Now, with the entire field filled up, it created one slight problem. See, the Mora Regina could have been summoned up slightly differently, or maybe... Actually, I don't think there's anything that can be done here. I mean, we could have linked off just to save up a little space, but ultimately, yeah, no, there's no way, because cards have been moving in and out of the graveyard. And... wow, what is going on here? We're using the effect of a Baoku, and now we put our opponent under Artifact Lancia. Well, that's fun, I guess. No Bestials, no Malice. Everything's kind of shut down here. But there is a really good play for Will. Will is about to see it, though. Because Silveria cannot activate in damage step. It negates an effect, not an activation. So, yeah, there it is. The swing of Druid's Worm into our catalog card. I don't know why I said that. Into the Diabelze. And that because they match in terms of strength, that's also going to send away the Sylvia. Azamina Sylvia. Silveria. Cool. Oh, and they're about supposed to be banished. Yeah, it comes back during the end phase. Normal summon a rabbit? I don't think so. I mean, this could be full combo for him. Or is it? So it sets a TB11. I think there's still quite a few things in the graveyard that it can be used. Oh my god, there is a triple tactics thrust, and I control monsters, which means he gets to add the card straight into his hand. But what's a good card at this point now, anyway? Like, you already summoned, so it's not evenly matched. And it's an infinite impermanence. I'm kind of surprised that something better didn't come up. Like, where's your D-berry that maybe you forgot to side out? Proceed to set. During the end phase, go for Baphomet, summon back the Fiendsmith Engraver. A Bow comes back as well, so the field got developed at the end phase of Will's turn. I don't know what we're discussing here. There's something that must be important. Oh, draw for turn. I mean, with the Fiendsmith already live on the field, that just means like easy access to Requiem. And if you do send it to the graveyard, you can put back the sequence. There is a circle of Fiendsmith life that is possible right now. It just depends on whether or not I can see it. And we're just going to banish everything. Summon out a Chaos. Sorry, the Aerial Eater. And that's going to overlay. Building the overlay network. DDD Wave Hiking Caesar. Well, that seemed a little bit easier than usual. Okay. We're going to proceed to push this into battle. Is that what we're doing? Well, having the DDD Wave Hiking Caesar is actually very awesome because it blocks stuff like Nibiru, it blocks the GWC, it blocks the TB11. If you block everything, we can push for a game pretty hard here. Everything here has a lot of damage output that is possible. And we're just choosing to summon back the Omni Negate instead. Yes, that's what we're going to do because that's what we love doing. And we're, of course, there's the effect of More Regina. We can summon back the Azamina LZ. Aside from like doing things during the opponent's turn, they also do things on their own turn, which is why this deck is so powerful. We get this special summon out a Chaos Angel using the Light Dark 8 and 2. And because that was a Chaos Angel Synchro summon using the LZ, we are capable of searching our deck for additional resources. And with Chaos Angel Summon, we're going to be banishing the TB11. Do we allow that? And the answer is no. No, it's not allowed. And it's an infinite impermanence. Chain. Well, that means the importance of Silveria is going to be right here. Or we just save the Silveria for the last card. There. Oh, no, we are definitely negating it. Okay, well then, that was also an option. I mean, it could have went either way. But the way that went was the one where we activated Sylvia. What are you trying to do here? So 2835 2K. Is that enough for a game? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. So with the Azamina LZ, that's going to add the Wanted into hand as a synchro material. Now with the Murcielago in the graveyard. Sorry, not Murcielago. The Mo Regina in the graveyard. That's going to help us fetch back. Put that back at the Hallowed Azamina back into our hand. Alright, so we're going to just play the Hallowed Azamina and then chain the Wanted. And that's going to allow us to get even more cards. Now we can use this to add back the Diabell Star, the Black Witch. And with the remainder of the effect as part of the chain, we're going to summon back a Murcielago. With Murcielago, that's going to allow us to add into our hand directly an Azamina or a Sinful Spoil card. And this is going to allow us to get a Deception into our hand. Activate the Wanted. Put back into the bottom of the deck the sinful spoil of the White Forest. And therefore, we can proceed into battle phase now. And that's gonna be going for game. That's all I got for this episode of Local Versus. I'll see you guys at Locals, but more importantly, I'll see you guys over the weekend. If you guys are gonna be at YCS Orlando, I'm gonna be there at the public events area if you guys want to find me. Thank you guys for watching. See you at Locals.